Hello. So today, my guest Jacinda is the owner of two businesses. One is called Journey to Glow, which is a meal subscriptions business, and the other one is the Breakfast Club, which is where I first met Jacinda. So my best friend decided one day to give me a treat, and she brought me to the Breakfast Club, which is Jacinda's little private kitchen business, where she hosts a small amount of guests, and they all get to sample a kaiseki meal that's cooked from the heart from Jacinda's kitchen. So when I first met her, she was pouring the tea out, and this tea had this most lovely smell to it, and it was really so wholesome. And then she described how it came from most of the herbs came from her dad's garden, and uh, and then she also talked so passionately about each and every item on the menu that she served to us, and so it was to me virtually like, oh my God, you're so inspiring. I want to talk to you. I want to take you through your astrology chart. I want to pick it out and see what makes you really you. So, Jacinda in this interview also shared with me her life journey, the journey towards her own health, and also how she determined her own life path. So, I hope you enjoy this interview as much as I did. See you. So, good morning. We are
Good
on
morning.
live. Hi,
This
Jacinda.
is so fun.
Yeah. Okay. So, I wanted to ask you, Jacinda, what is the name of your business or businesses? And what is it that you do? Can you tell everyone?
Okay, so my business is called the Breakfast Club. What do we do? It's we provide like healing vegan meals that are delicious to our community, to our customers. So actually, I think my mission lah, is to show the world that hey, healthy food can be tasty, too. It's not only sustainable to the earth, but it's also sustainable in terms of like keeping up with this diet because it's not always just like plain salads, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. No, I tried my first batch of your meal and I was like, oh yum, it's so yum.
Right? Yeah, that's what we really wanted to prove because, we wanted to show that, hey, even if you want to eat healthy, right? It's not that scary, you know,
Yeah,
and you can do it long term.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's one business. So I've got two businesses. Yeah, one is called the Breakfast Club, where we host private dinings at my space, as well as host like events or like collaborate with other small businesses
Mhm.
to do like to provide the food lah for their events, or we collaborate to do like wellness events.
Yeah,
Then we've got another brand called Glow. So Glow does all the meal subscriptions, like healing meal subscriptions,
yeah.
um, that are mainly for delivery. Yeah.
Okay. So which started first? Did the Breakfast Club start first or did Girl start first?
Well, the Breakfast Club, the name started first, but the type of business was the meal subscriptions first.
Ah, I see.
So beginning, it was because I used to have a lot of health problems, right? I used to have like acne, eczema, UTI. I was always sick, like flu and fever. Like every month, it will come back, and I'll be bedridden for a week.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was losing my hair. I even had like alopecia at one time,
Mm, mm.
and hives and everything. Like you can name it, I got it all like at one time. And then I was on Western medication, and one day it just stopped working. So it used to be effective, then suddenly it stopped being effective, and the doctor said like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know how to help you because I already given you the strongest pill."
Mm.
And that was actually one of like, I was really really sad lah because I did not know how to proceed with my life, and it was so itchy. My UTI was so itchy and so painful. I couldn't even pee, like it was like trickling, and I
Okay.
couldn't walk and everything. And I was like, huh, you send me home like this, what am I going to do tomorrow or like tonight,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
was so sad because I was like, wow, I was 27, and I was like, this can't be it, right? But
Mm.
yet at the same time, it was like kind of like a turning point. in
Mm.
my life because I decided that, you know what, hey, if the doctors cannot help me, right, I will help myself.
Mm.
And so I started researching on my own, like how do I heal myself from these issues?
Mm.
And I Googled it. So I Googled it, and the first few pages were like information that didn't work for me because like they were all about like changing your bed sheet, changing your towel, changing your face wash, changing your body wash, changing your panties, you know, changing everything and like or taking medication. And I was like, I tried all that already. And
Yeah.
then finally, I think on the fourth or fifth page, I came across a guy who said, like, hey, you know what? You can use food to heal yourself. He has tried it and
Mm.
he has tried it on his community. And basically it's very simple. It's going back to basics for like 30 days. Just whole foods like fruits and vegetables, cut out the processed food, cut out the refined carbohydrates, cut out all these things, and
Yeah.
just 30 days go back into a reset or detox, like most of us know, right? And
What was the name of the guy that the
yeah, so his name is Marcus Rothkrantz.
oh,
So he is from the US and he has a free ebook. It's called Heal Yourself 101.
okay.
And so I downloaded the book and I read it and wow, this guy made so much sense.
Mm.
And you know, and he's not trying to sell you some kind of like $1,000, $1 million
Yeah.
Sientan, you know, like super pill that you can heal yourself.
Yeah.
It's seriously so simple, like just you to eat your veggies.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
And so I really trusted him lah because he wasn't trying to do something weird, you know. And so I did it. He says 30 days and I did it for 30 days and everything healed. And
Wow.
then I decided to continue. And so when on the 30th day, right, and when everything healed, I was like, wow, this is my mission, man. I need to tell everybody about this. Like from now on, this is my life mission. Because I know many people who have chronic illnesses and they have been taking medication their whole life and it didn't help them at all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Same here. I
Like
also
that.
have
Oh,
similar journey.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like for example, my parents, right? They got like high blood pressure and everything, and they take medication, and if they accidentally like forget, and then like the high blood pressure shoot up again, and I thought like, wow, this is not like healthy reliance.
Mm. Mm.
And I really wanted to tell them about it lah, and so I did. I told my family first, and first thing, of course, I got rejection. It's like,
Yeah.
don't disturb me, you know. I want to eat everything I want to eat, you know. I don't want to make this change.
Reason. Yeah.
But other friends and family who saw this change and they themselves were ready to heal from their issues
Mm-hmm.
were, hey, what's your secret? I want to know too, you know. So I shared with them, you know, no secret. It's just diet. Go back to basics, fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
And then, but of course, there was so much involved. Like, they were like, you can't, I had to change my salt out, right? I cannot buy like table salt. I had to buy like natural sea salt. Sugar, you gotta change out. Oil, you cannot use, you know, the regular, very refined oil. Um,
Mm-hmm.
pure as you can, you know. So I had to explain all these things to them to replace in their house. And they were like, okay, you know, it's just so complicated. I don't have time to learn. Can I just give you some money? You prepare the meals for me every day, you know? And I was like,
Wow.
sure, you know, anybody who wanted to, who believed me and wanted to heal naturally, I was like, I'm going to show you can one,
Did
you
you
know.
did you actually like cooking before that?
No, I never liked, never cooked.
Never cooked.
Never.
Wow. So it
Yeah.
was like an amazing, like it's almost as if your whole life just changed
Yeah.
180 degrees.
Yeah. From that night onwards, right, it really changed 360 degrees. Serious. Um, with that change in my diet, right? Because at first in my 30 days, I was losing even more weight. I was already severely underweight. I was like 37 kilos.
Wow.
Yes, and that was on a very unhealthy diet. I was eating everything I wanted to.
Wow.
And no matter how what I did at that time, I couldn't gain weight.
Mm-hmm.
And so with the detox, I had to lose even more weight. But when I read the book, I already knew it's part of the side effects of a detox lah. So I was ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
And my family were very concerned. They were like, oh my God, what are you doing? You know, you might die from it and everything. And but I decided, you know what, since I already know I decided to persevere on and finish the 30 days. And at the end of 30 days, when I really healed everything, I was like, oh, this is new information to me that I don't have to listen to my parents about everything.
Mm.
I listened to myself and oh wow, it worked. Society will also say the way you're eating is not a norm,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I didn't listen to the norm of the society and I was like, wow, it worked. You know, no matter how many people put me down for what I was doing during that 30 days, I was like, I persevered and it worked. And I was like, wow, this is newfound um discovery for me, because I think I've lived my life, my whole life up to that point, even since as a child, right? Being making my decisions based on what I think society thinks is the right way, right? Like even when I had to pursue my university degree, I really didn't want a degree. It didn't make any sense to me. But everybody said you must to get a good job. So I was like, okay, I do law. What degree? I don't know. I just called my friends like, hey, what y'all studying? Oh, marketing. Okay, I'll sign up. Same thing.
That's how you
So
chose it.
it's so bad because I really don't know what I was doing. You know,
Okay.
like what kind of job I should do. I also like hear say about what people society say, like, oh, if you work this, you get higher pay. If you work what you really like, you will never get a good money and you'll suffer.
Mm.
And so I have been living my life like that, And when I found food and how it healed me, at the same time, it really gave me so much mental clarity that, hey, you know what, you can listen to yourself. You
Wow.
know what's best for you.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, what were you doing prior or when you got your
Right.
illnesses? What were you doing for your profession?
Yeah, so before I was doing this, I was doing freelance MC.
Oh, MC.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I really enjoyed it because I like to interact with people. That's like my love.
Yeah, I can see that there's the Gemini in you, right? So the Gemini is a very communicative, like it likes to connect with people, like to have a lot of conversations. There's a lot of fun going, and there's a lot of
Oh, yeah.
mentally as well for you. It's very fast, right? Inside,
You super, I think.
super fast, right? So the connections are very quick. But the other part of you is when I look at let me show it to you on the okay. So I'm just showing it to you on the chart now. It looks a little bit, I would say, scary for someone looking at these things sometimes for the first time. And let me just share with you. So everybody has a natal chart like this. Everyone has a wheel. Everyone
Mm.
has 12 houses, okay? So each house kind of represents an area of your life, okay? So an area of your life just basically means like first house means the physical body. It means the way in which you appear to the world and your perception of the world, right? And then you see you have like these few planets here, these symbols here are all planets. So there's three main things in astrology. The one thing is the areas of your life, the 12 areas of your life. The second thing to note is that there are planets. So at this exact point in time of your birth, this is where all the planets were placed. So if you were to look up in the sky, that's what you see. Each one of these symbols represents a planet. And then each planet is in a different constellation. So the constellation
Mm.
sometimes means like it could be in the constellation of Sagittarius or Capricorn, or like where your sun was, it's all in Gemini. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay.
that's how we look at astrology now. But don't worry too much about the details. But basically, I
No,
just
it looks very interesting.
yeah. So the third house, you have got quite a few resources in there. What I mean by resources is the planets have an influence on your third house. Okay. And the third house is about research, right? It's about data, but it's also about that one-to-one sort of communication. It's about siblings and short journeys. So from here, I can tell that there's already quite a lot of emphasis that you have on communications, on speaking, on like things that are social media, that kind of thing.
Oh,
Yeah. So
yes.
that's why I'm like, oh, MC, and you like talking, and talking is also communication. But also, I think if you were to even look at the other side of the chart, you have the sun here, and then you have Mercury here.
Mm.
Mercury being right next to the sun is that you, as a personality, love to communicate. You love thinking. Thinking just comes very, very naturally for you, and you can't separate yourself from the thinking process. It's all you are a thinker. You are always
Yeah,
analyzing things, right?
right.
Yeah. And I mean, with Gemini, it's like the person who loves communicating as well and
Yes.
connecting people. Yeah. So that was just a little bit about your astrology chart there.
That's so cool.
So I guess yeah, the MC thing makes sense as well. What you did like to do for your career because there's so much of this wanting to speak to people, have conversations as well.
Yeah, I really love to do that. Now I'm coming to accept that, you know.
Ah,
Yeah, because like it's not very a conventional kind of love. Sometimes people tell me I talk too much. You know, so now I'm coming to accept that, oh, you know what? It's actually a good thing. And not everybody likes to talk a lot, right? And also because everybody has a different birth chart, right? So not everybody has the same strength or
or
same.
abilities.
Yeah, so I think now I'm coming to accept that and love that side of me, I guess.
So as a person who started working but from university that time, and when you were doing your career as an MC, it was already freelance, wasn't it?
No, that was very much later in life. I was in like office jobs at
Mm.
first. So when I first graduated, I took a job that my cousin recommended. Um and she told me that like this one can earn good money, and it was in IT, and I was really not interested at all. And they tried to convince me and tell me that hey, the money is really nice, but like it really I cannot work something that I don't like for money. It's not enough for me to pursue something like this lah. And at
Mm.
the time I think it seems stupid to many people, like why you know, for money you don't want to work, you know, but like I couldn't.
Mm.
And then after that, I dabbled in other office jobs, and I realized, oh my gosh, it's really not for me. Like
Yeah.
a 9 to 5 is really not for me.
Mm.
Also, in mainly in companies like offices, this kind of setting, it's I guess less um a more restrictive in terms of being able to express yourself freely lah, right? I did not meet a job that was able to give me that, and so I just quit lah.
Mm.
And then I started taking on freelance tuition first. So I was a primary school tutor.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so that just gave me
That
freedom
yeah.
again. Yeah.
That again is a very third house thing. It's early education.
Serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
So
really enjoy
mm.
teaching them, especially outside of their curriculum. Like I will share with them about like environmental issues and how we can improve it, and like animal, you know, and just general knowledge in you know, when during the lesson sometimes we stray a little bit, and I really enjoy that, and I can see that they really enjoy, and you know, can remember such information as compared to just textbook learning.
Yeah, so like let me just share that thing again. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to that again.
That's
And
so nice.
so your third house is here, right? And it's also about data, but it's also about early education. And you have three resources in here. So I'm just gonna go a little bit more detail here.
Okay.
So this first guy here is blue planet here. It's called Uranus, right?
Okay.
And Uranus is the planet that actually is very humanitarian, right? And the way in which you're going to use this part is really to get people to like learn, to explore, because it's in Sagittarius. It's not about learning that one topic. It's very open-minded in its way, and it's like let's learn about A, B, C, D, and explore
Yeah.
these various things. It's
Yeah.
not about like what you learn from the books, but it's really about experiencing something, experimenting with
Oh
things.
my god, yes.
Yeah. And the Uranus part of you as well in this area is like, okay, what can we do to help the world? What can we do to save the world? It's a humanitarian planet, you see. So that's probably also why. And Uranus is a bit of a rebel, doesn't like to follow convention at all.
Oh my god.
Absolutely hates it.
If only we knew this chart when we were younger. I wonder, you know.
I don't know. I mean, sometimes, it just depends on also whether you are ready to see these.
True.
Yeah. And
True,
maybe
true.
earlier on before you might not have been ready. And
Yeah,
now you're ready. Yeah.
you're right, you're right. I mean, sometimes you gotta walk certain path and experience certain things before I guess we are ready to accept ourselves, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. And then I mean you've got this thing which is Saturn. Saturn is actually like the planet of like discipline, of structure as well, of the person who builds things or the person who structures, or like an authority. So I guess if you were a teacher before as well, it's also still, you can be that authority figure for the people, right, that you're teaching. And then with Neptune here, Neptune is like the planet of dreams, of imagination, of also something very creative and idealistic, right? So you might have also been able to use your imagination or actually inspire them, really inspire your students. Yeah.
Yeah. I do that even now.
Yes. So, quite interestingly, let me share that thing. I just accidentally made it disappear. So if I look at your sixth house describes the things that you do on a daily basis. So it can actually be like your vocation, the work that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens in your sixth house here is that you have it in the sign of Pisces on the door of the sixth house. Each sign is ruled by a planet. So Pisces is ruled by Neptune. So in your sixth house, what you can do on a daily basis when you are actually contributing to people is to provide them with inspiration,
Wow.
right?
Okay.
Based on the research that you have done.
Okay.
House number three is also research, right? It's
Okay.
data. It's taking in all the inspirational uh, uh, or rather taking in all the data and the research that you've done and providing them with what is the ideal situation here,
Right.
right? But the way and the manner in which you are contributing is not like I would say yes, there's dream, there's inspiration, but there's still a very down to earth feeling to it, right? It's about setting goals. It's about being very practical and saying, okay, how can I reach this stage step by step? How can I achieve my goal? How can I do it in a way that it makes sense? It's not like flighty or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
very grounded in its approach.
Yeah.
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 How does
100%.
yeah, okay. So can you elaborate like what does that mean for you? Like
Well, I have been suffering with that because like I think my imagination is so crazy, but yet to me my ideal world is um also so doable. Um, or like we should all be working towards that.
mhm,
And so for example, like my ideal life, right, is to set up some kind of like eco village where everybody lives more sustainably. We grow our own produce, right, and then it's a community living where like everybody can share resources. And now I always tell people we are relying too heavily on one system, which is money. And
mm,
what happens in nature, it doesn't even matter money or not. In nature, right, if you rely too heavily on one thing, when that crashes, right, everybody dies, right? So I do acknowledge that yes, money is important, but we're just too heavily dependent on it, right? And
mhm,
when what I mean, now we've been hearing like rumors or that the economy is going to go into recession, right?
mm,
Then what happens to us? We all got no money, then we got nothing to eat. I mean, that does not make common sense to me at all.
mm,
Although it is a norm of the world, but it does not make sense. So I do feel that we all have to um um start growing and be more self-sustainable, like grow your own food lah, and
mm.
be more self-sustainable. So even when that day comes, right, you have not enough money to buy certain things, but you can still feed yourself at a very basic level.
Very,
And
very.
so that is my imagination, and I feel like it's super possible small steps,
Mhm,
like learning how to grow things, learning how to use this simple produce to cook them into very like delicious food, and like um trying to live more sustainably and using more like less plastic and more nature given kind of materials. Yep,
mm.
I think that's what I'm trying to do to achieve that end goal.
Wow, that's really, really amazing.
It's not easy to be an early adopter because whatever you say will be put down because they cannot see it.
Mm.
So I think I have learned how to share my this and a dream, I don't know, and but also learn how to face rejection, like do not take it personally.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, absolutely. That's really very wise. So how, like, you were working jobs and then you were like doing freelancing here and there. Was there ever this sense that, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, it's scary?
No.
Never.
No, because I really yeah, so one thing to say is like I am very bad with money.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very bad with money. So even I never needed money, monthly stable salary as a security blanket. I never needed that. So even freelance, if have, don't have, it doesn't matter to me.
Mm.
Good thing lah, because I know I have I depend a lot on my family, right? So like, oh, if no money, then today stay at home, don't eat so much, eat my mother's one, eat at home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, like it's a sense of like if I have no money, right, I always think, oh, never mind, don't worry, the universe will provide.
Wow.
But in a lot of times it means my family will provide.
The family is part of your life after all.
Yeah.
Do you have
Or
a
the
big family?
universe.
Do you have a big family?
Um, like my own direct immediate family is like we got three of us, and then my parents and then my grandmother. So we all lived together in one house last time. I mean before I
Oh,
got married.
yeah.
And but we were very close to all my aunties and my cousins and everybody. So like from young, even though my family was not well to do, my other relatives who had more will always shower us with a lot of things. So that's where
Concept
my
of abundance.
yes, totally concept of abundance came from. Like, never mind lah, poor never mind, got a lot of people to help you one.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing. It's like you grew up with a whole kampong, right? The whole village.
yeah, you're right.
Support came from there as well. Ah, that's
Yeah.
really amazing. Yeah.
That's why maybe I want to replicate that in future. Like I feel like it's so important because how can you rely on yourself for everything?
Yes, yes. You do need a whole village to support you, right?
Yeah, I feel like I want
Day
that
and
lor.
age, yeah.
So that I can help them too. I cannot help you maybe monetary wise, but I can help you in so many other things.
Mm, yeah, cool. Okay. So does this feel like your calling right now for you? This whole the food business, the health business. Is there anything more, or are you just really happy with where you are now?
I think I think what I'm coming to realize is that because I'm a manifester, right?
Mm-hmm.
In human design.
Okay.
And I know like I cannot work the same thing for a long time. Um, so definitely I want to pass it on. Like especially like with my food business now, I'm really trying to find a I already have a team, right? And yeah, and I always try to find people who are like-minded, right? Or like to inspire them also, and then they feel like their work is very meaningful. And one day, if I can pass it on, I always tell them, "Hey guys, if you all want to take over, please let me know. I would love to give it to you. I need to do other things."
Yeah.
And yeah,
So,
I feel like my next mission is anyway. I started a business, but it was never to solely just cook for people. It was always about raising awareness. Because I do feel like you can't subscribe food from me forever, what?
mm,
Right?
mm,
You got to learn yourself. You got to like, this is just a starting point, starting board, or we are there for you to, we are going to be there for you when you're too busy to cook for yourself. Then you can come to us also. But
yeah.
I never ever thought like you have to rely on me forever. It was really always about awareness. And so being able to give like maybe public speaking or writing a book, that will be like my next.
Mm. Wow. Public speaking, huh? And
Yeah, I
book.
like to share about all these things lah, because I know like so many people are not aware, and how I learned all these things was from somebody else's sharing.
Yeah.
So important, right? So I feel like I need to do that also.
is there a part of you that actually maybe like values how should I say transformations or like is there a part of you that loves to go deep beyond the surface, right? And you don't like these kind of superficial things, and you really like just really enjoy going much deeper and even exploring into very dark topics maybe. There could be taboo behind it. There could be things that society doesn't accept. Or maybe there could be a lot of psychology behind it. But yeah, what's your take on that?
Yes, very deep. That's my thing. Like I do not I don't know if I say I'm like averse to superficial things. I never really think like, oh, superficial is like waste time. I don't think like this. I just feel like it's great for everybody to go deep. Not for me, but like for themselves, right?
Mm,
More
mm,
awareness about how we feel about certain issues, because I feel like we have been running on autopilot for a really long time.
mm.
You know, and if I can like activate you by asking you a really deep question and you can start to think about it, then like I think I feel like okay, I've done my work a bit.
Yeah, okay. So that part shows up in your chart this way, how you've just described it, okay? So house number two is about money, but beyond money, it's also about self-worth and it's also about values because we know money is a commodity. So that deeper meaning of house number two is really self-worth of values and what you value, right? But it is also your attitudes towards money. And that is ruled by the sign of Scorpio, and Scorpio is ruled by the planet Pluto. Pluto in Scorpio, Pluto likes to go deep. It likes to go into dark topics. Okay.
Yeah,
Like it's all about
love.
like death and rebirth, right? It's about transformation. So if I was to say, even do a career reading for you or a business reading for you, the value that you bring out to the world is like what you just said, in asking that question and provoking someone in a manner that gets them to really go very deep and face maybe things that they don't really want to face
Yeah.
and face the dark stuff, like, and only in facing their shadows do they then get to see the light as well, right? So yeah, how does this feel for you?
Yeah, I think that's what I really like to do.
Have you done it before? Have you like started to do it with your community?
All the time. Horrible.
Horrible. Can you elaborate?
Because
Horrible?
sometimes I feel like Jacinda, just shut up lah. Like not everybody's ready to hear it, you know what I mean? But I cannot help it, you know.
Yeah.
And yet my biggest fear is rejection.
Mm.
So I really gotta learn how to like um just accept love. Sometimes people reject you, but doesn't mean later on they won't come back to when they're ready, they will actually still think about this. You know,
Yeah.
I know recently I did like I was telling one of these customers who came lah, she said like I cannot sleep at night. Every night I cannot sleep. I have to just like I have to drink or like I have to do something to make sure I can sleep. And I just told her like, oh, if you can't sleep at night, usually means that you are not fulfilled in life, you know? And then that was I thought it was like quite like okay lah, duh, you know. But to her it was like so deep. I was like, whoa, okay, don't tell me this. I need to drink again. Like it means I gotta face the truth. Yeah, I'm really not fulfilled. I need to think about what I need to do to make myself more fulfilled. And that was really scary for her.
Mm.
Um, but I saw that like she wasn't rejecting me. Now I can see she's just like not ready. But I feel like I also have started to like provoke a little bit, and then I feel like over time she's gonna start thinking about it. Because how long can this insomnia last, right? How long do you want the insomnia period to last?
Yeah. Yeah. So there is
Yeah, doing it all
a
the time.
lot of, yeah, there's quite a lot of emphasis there. I mean, that Pluto is one thing, yeah, the deep stuff. And then on top of that, you actually have a lot of planets here in the eighth house. The eighth house is also the house, the area of life that has to do with transformations, that has to do with crisis, or helping people who are crisis, or shining a light for people who are in crisis. Going into taboo topics, going into anything even to do with sex. So, all the stuff that society really doesn't want to look at, you are actually quite happy to just, go and talk about it with people and bring it up to people as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess it's good then you do have these conversations with your clients.
My friends, my family, my clients, everybody.
Yeah. Wow, amazing. Amazing. And is it like now part of that like a detox program that you have, or is it just, pretty free flow for you when it comes to giving them advice?
Oh, so free flow.
Mm.
So free flow. Like, so sometimes our customers, they come here. So those who do our meal subscription, sometimes we don't get to see them because it's always delivery, right? But sometimes they come here to like have a meal because they want to learn more about how they can enhance their health and everything. So I have to ask them to come and let me tell them face to face, what are my stories and what I've researched about. And always this kind of like provoking things will come out also lah. Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so it's very free flow. No, because I also do believe at the heart of healing, whether it's your physical body or not, it's a lot of um your mental health definitely plays a part also.
Yeah.
So if we can face our fears, right, we can probably heal a lot of other things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Definitely. Yeah.
People who have decided like, hey, you know what, I want to order so that I can make sure my meals are healthy and they're taken care of. That going into that mentality is like it means that you're ready to take care of yourself.
That's very, very
Right?
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas the other person who's probably still rejecting that idea is like, nope, it's so
Like
expensive.
that.
Why should I do that?
Yeah. It means
Right?
they are not ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I'm not ready to commit, or no, it's all eating veggies. No, I can't do that, or something like
Exactly.
that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so interesting. Yeah.
Mm.
So the other thing I wanted to also highlight to you was your career house, which is the 10th
Okay.
house. It's in the sign of Cancer. And Cancer is also very much about nourishing people. It's about mothering people, taking care of them, giving them comfort as well. That is the kind of energy that your career and your calling, so that the upper part of your work and what you're going to put out into the world involves that. And that's ruled by the moon here. The moon in Aries here in the sixth house. So it could be that the sixth house for you is also about health.
Mm.
It's also about what you do on a daily basis, what you put out, your daily routines as well, right? Your daily working environment as well. So all of this, and you're going to do it in a way that you are like maybe mothering or nurturing or providing emotional support or nourishing people as well.
Mm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, if you just ask me, I will look at the Breakfast Club and I will look at, say, Glow, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that fits it as well.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, how you're actually using food to nourish people right now.
Yeah, it is. I use my food secretly lah to mother people. I, need to like help you. I
Yeah,
don't
just
know,
to give
guide
them
you.
emotional support in their daily
Yeah,
life, right? So
it's
that
so
meal
much more
subscription
than
service, yeah.
it's so much more than just the food alone.
Mm,
I just really hope that it can also nourish you in terms of um not just your physical health, but like also like overall, like just being a more open person and more uh loving. Yeah.
that's very, very interesting. Yeah. And that there's another part of you as well that to me is like one of the biggest psychological archetypes. So I do some more calculations behind this. And if you were to look at, say, your planet Venus,
Mm.
Venus is actually the person who likes beauty, who is sociable, So it's how you interact with people, how you relate with people as well. And this Venus has a strong connection with the Pluto here that I mentioned.
Mm.
Has a strong connection there. And what you're able to see is really like maybe in terms of relationships, you're like a very good like social connector. You're able to see value between person A and person B and connect them, right? In ways like a broker like that. And that's the value that you're able to bring to relationships within your network. Yeah.
Nice.
How does that play out for you?
I've been doing that at the breakfast club.
Really? Like how? Like
Because when people
bring
come,
people
right?
together?
Yeah, I'll put them. I will when people come sometimes, and then we start talking really deeply. So I get to know people very quickly, in a short span of time. And so they tell me that they share me their problems. Because I also know how to, I understand how to in a flow a conversation where people can go deep. Is that you always have to share your vulnerabilities first, then people will be like, oh wow, she can share so openly. It means I can also share so openly, right? And so I very quickly know what are their problems they're facing and what they kind of need and want. And so I can match two people together because I know these are what they need and what they can give each other. So I'll always tell, hey, you know what? Let's meet up, you and you. I think we can be great.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've already been doing that.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like it's already coming up to almost 10 a.m. So I'm like, okay, I'm a bit conscious of the time.
No worries,
But
no worries, yeah.
yeah, I'm like just wondering, how has the session been for you? Do you understand yourself a bit better, or like what's your reaction to astrology?
Yeah, I mean, I am a big like believer of astrology and how energy is all part of us, right? Um, and now I think with that written in the chart, I have less doubts about myself and my capabilities and my dreams. Um, and just more accepting and embracing, I guess.
That's great.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Because
So
I mean, many of these things are already what I am doing, right?
yeah.
And sometimes you don't know if you're doing it right or not. Are you in the right direction?
Yeah, and do you actually sometimes doubt yourself because you don't see the value in what you're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
and
it's so different.
sorry, what's so different?
What I'm doing is so different. Like I got no like role model or like example to see, like that correct or not.
Mm.
I just like free flow it. So like,
But yeah, thanks so much for your time. And I'm really like amazed at how you are really living your design already, in terms of so many of the other indicators that we have. And I'm like really inspired by what you have put out here as well. I'm like, if I had met you maybe 5 years ago, I would have just absolutely loved to follow you. I was alone in my gut journey as well. Just like you, I came across this clean gut cleanse and I also went on a detox.
oh, nice.
Yeah, but I have kind of strayed away quite far from it because of my own challenges as well. And
No,
so I'm like, okay,
even me.
it's kind of like a yo-yo, isn't it,
Yeah,
sometimes?
it is. But I think it's a cycle, ma.
Mm.
Go and party, then you're like, oh shit, too much. Okay, then you come back down again. Then go, then come again. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Okay. So yeah, thanks so much for your time,
Thank you,
Jacinda.
Tonya. I had fun.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much.
Bye.